What it do, y'all? Bread Tuck Rob, Bread Tuck Gang forever, man. Bread Tuck Legacy, we value us. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm reading another book. This book is Breaking the Curse of Willie Lynch, the science of slave psychology by Alvin Morrow. Man, I just saw this book in Barnes and Nobles while I was in the African American section, and I was like, man, this looks interesting. It was only $10, and it's a short read. It's like 120 pages or something like that. But I'm giving you the first chapter, man. The first chapter is entitled Slaves in the Making. And in the beginning of the book, and this is including the foreword and everything up and through chapter 1, it talks about the Willie Lynch letter. If you're not familiar with the Willie Lynch letter, I ask you to go Google it and read it. This thing changed my life. After reading this Willie Lynch letter, I stopped watching Love and Hip Hop and all that crap, because all that is a device to just keep us separated, to keep us laughing at each other, to go at each other and support our destruction, man. So I had to remove myself from that, man. I mean, once you elevate yourself, you elevate, and to just put it same and to put it simple and plain. But check this out, man. The first chapter of this book was called Slaves in the Making, and it gives the purpose of the Willie Lynch letter. Willie Lynch, in 1712, he met up with other slave masters, and he was like, hey, man, check this out, man. I know we're hanging slaves and all this, but check this out, man. When we're hanging these slaves, what are we really getting out of this? These slaves stink. The dead bodies stink. Your crops are dying. Your animals are dying. They're kind of burning up stuff. Your slaves are running away. We're getting less production. So I created a plan, and I'm speaking as Willie Lynch. He created a plan to control the mind of the slaves. That way you have them all in order. You still get production out of your slaves, and you grow economically. Okay. Now the author Morrow, Alvin Morrow, gives a definition of slave. I don't know where he got the definition from, but this is a great definition of the word slave. Okay, a slave is a person under the manipulation or physical confines of any brought about by brute. Oh, excuse me. Let me read it again. Slave. A slave is a person under the manipulation or physical confines of another, brought about by brute force or carefully skilled trickery or deceit. So that's just showing you don't have to be physically in chains or, tied up to be a slave. They can have you mentally, man. So slavery is still going on today, even though people aren't physically enslaved unless you're in prison. But that's another thing. I'm sure he'll touch on that in the book. If you saw the documentary, the incredible documentary 13th by Ava DuVernay on Netflix, you would get that aspect of it. But we move on, man. Okay, we are not physically enslaved anymore, but we are controlled mentally. He talks about it. Look at your job. Now remember, I go back, man. Willie Lynch was like, hey, man, to keep this progress going, we control them mentally. And as a result, your crops don't die. You have everybody in line, and you grow and they grow economically. And I'm talking about the slaveholders. Now watch this. We are not physically enslaved. I'm talking about us black people, but we are mentally. Now look at your jobs. And myself included, a lot of us, we work for other people. They control the time we get there, the time we leave, and they control our pay. Okay. Now for a lot of us, I think outside the box, thank God. And I try to tell my people around me to think outside the box. But for a lot of us that don't think outside the box, we're not growing economically. We're just working. We're getting that wage. We're spending it. with other people that are our complexion, and then we go right back to the job and continue on a cycle. Then we die. Our family have to have fish fries to bury us, and we don't get anywhere, man. That's mental slavery. Check this out. Like I said, they control your time and your pay, fam. So you go in there, you might feel like you worth $1 million, but now take this $12 an hour, take this $9 an hour. So that's just something to think about. What else? And then in the book, he talks about, now deep down, we are feared by these slave masters. Why? And that got me to thinking, why are we feared? Why did they put us on those boats? Out of all the people they probably could have got, why did they enslave us? That's something to think about, man. They must have saw something in us that they didn't want to compete with. You know, do your research on that, man. But that was it for this chapter. Like I said, these chapters are like 6, 7, 8 pages, if that, man. The next chapter is chapter 2 will be called Black Animalization. Can't wait to get to that one. But y'all know what it is, man. Bread Tuck Rock, Bread Tuck Gang forever. Bread Tuck Legacy. Breaking the Curse of Willie Lynch. The Science of Slave Psychology by Alvin Morrow. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm gonna give y'all chapter 2, God willing, tomorrow. Bread Tuck Rob, Bread Tuck Gang forever, Bread Tuck Legacy. We value us. Y'all mucho, take it easy. H-Town all day.